My wife suffers from severe cleanliness obsession. No one is allowed to touch her personal belongings except me. That day, both she and I were invited to attend the same Fashion Week event. In the middle of the runway show, I saw a sight that made my heart drop straight to the abyss. A pet dog was strutting across the catwalk. Around its neck hung a collar, with my wife's wedding ring attached to it. That dog belonged to an idol trainee from the company. In that instant, a terrible premonition struck me. This marriage was nearing its end. Not long after, both my wife and that trainee fell from the peak of their fame. Her eyes were red-rimmed. She asked me why I had done this to her. I turned away, avoiding the hand she reached out to me, my face cold and distant. If she had dared to betray her husband, then she should have been prepared to be exposed and humiliated. The moment I stepped backstage, a deep unease surged through my chest. I could feel it. Our 10 years of love were about to collapse. While I stood there frozen in shock, the young man finally stopped teasing the dog wearing the ring. He stood up slightly and smiled politely. His lips pressed together. "Hello, Mr. Key back dat." Though his tone was respectful, it was clear he had no intention of fully standing up. A flash of irritation flickered between my brows. I didn't lower myself to scold him. Instead, I silently shifted my gaze toward Lưu Như Yên. She was focused on touching up her makeup, completely unaware of the tension thickening the air around her. Today was the 8th anniversary of our wedding. We had planned to celebrate by sailing out on our private yacht. To prepare for tonight, I had worked through several nights to clear my schedule, then spent hours personally decorating the yacht for a romantic evening. I had never imagined that the wedding ring, symbol of a love belonging only to the two of us, would one day end up hanging around the neck of someone else's dog. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Key back dat." He smiled brightly. "My name is Wai Dang Tan. In my new film, I play Như Yen's younger brother." That smile was only a facade. In his eyes, an arrogance he couldn't quite conceal gleamed. "I heard you designed the wedding rings yourself. And Mok really likes it. So Kai Như Yen took it off and gave it to him to play with. But don't worry, once Mok gets bored, I'll wash it thoroughly and return it to her." She gave it to him herself. Hearing Wai Dang Tan say that felt like my heart was being soaked in salt water. No one understood better than I did how severe Lưu Như Yen's germophobia was. In the past, when her mother adopted a dog out of loneliness, Như Yen was so furious that she didn't step foot in the house for an entire year. A friend once joked that she probably made me kiss her through plastic wrap. He was wrong. After marriage, Như Yen was always attentive and gentle. Every time I came home after drinking at business dinners, she would softly wipe away the scent of alcohol and brew tea to sober me up. She once said, "We are a team. You respect my principles, and I will change my habits for you. I only change for you." And yet now, not only had she allowed Wai Dang Tan and his dog into her private space, she had personally tossed our wedding ring into the saliva-soaked claws of an animal. Born into a powerful family, I had never bowed my head in humiliation, and this time was no exception. I said coldly, "Take your dog and get out." My face was calm, my voice utterly devoid of emotion. Wai Dang Tan froze, clearly not expecting to be humiliated in front of so many people. His eyes reddened, his face flushing with shame. After a moment of silence, he stammered, "I'm sorry, Mr. Back Dat." He didn't dare look at me, his hands tightly gripping the hem of his clothes. The commotion finally caught Lưu Như Yen's attention. It wasn't yet her time to return backstage, so when she saw me appear early, she paused in surprise. Noticing my anger, she hurried over and gently took my hand, her voice coaxing and worried. "Back Dat, why are you here so early?" I looked down at her, but asked something entirely different. "Như Yen, why is our wedding ring on him?" The backstage atmosphere instantly turned thick and suffocating. The staff sensed the tension and hurriedly found excuses to leave. Only the dog remained, whining softly in a corner, trembling with unease. Lưu Như Yên frowned slightly, her tone calm as if nothing unusual had happened. Oh, that? Right before I went on stage. The dog kept staring at the ring and wouldn't settle down. I was afraid it would delay the show. So I temporarily gave it to Wai Dang Tan to hold. Don't overthink it. You're here now, let's go. From the corner of my eye, I saw Wai Dang Tan seem to want to step closer to Như Yen. But fear held him back. I spoke again, irritation heavy in my voice. You're Wai Dang Tan, right? I don't have a habit of traveling with strangers. Go wherever you want, just don't cling to us. His face turned pale. He looked pleadingly at Như Yen. But she didn't spare him a glance. In the end, he could only dejectedly lead the dog away, his small figure disappearing behind the door. After dinner, though soft violin music filled the luxurious space, the atmosphere between Như Yen and me remained unbearably heavy. When the band left, Lưu Như Yen came over, sat on my lap, and gently kissed my lips. Back dat, we got the ring back. Are you still angry? Her voice was light as a breeze. He's just a new trainee. Curious about everything. Why make such a big deal out of it? I looked straight into her eyes. You broke your promise. She froze, confusion filling her gaze. What promise did I break? You said you would only change for me, only compromise for me, but today, you accepted even a dog, for his sake. The thing you hate most. She hadn't realized that was why I'd been silent all evening. Even people who didn't follow entertainment news knew how famous Lưu Như Yen was. Her social media alone had hundreds of millions of followers. In an industry full of fabrication and scandal, she had always maintained a spotless reputation and flawless image. She leaned lightly against my chest, eyes sparkling with laughter. I thought you'd never get jealous. She looked up, her eyes bright as stars. He reminds me of myself when I first entered the industry. That's all. I just wanted to help someone like I once was, nothing more. Then she lifted my chin gently, her tone turning serious. I really don't mean anything else. Back dat. But my instincts rarely failed me. Sure enough, it wasn't long before he appeared again, this time inserting himself directly between Như Yen and me. I only found out when a friend called, his voice loaded with implication. Did you know Lưu Như Yen arranged for an unknown trainee from your company to join Countryside Life? I heard she even agreed to a cameo in the director's next film just for him. He sent me the promotional poster for the next episode. I opened it. The name Wai Dang Tan stood out prominently among the guest list. Curious, I searched his social media and immediately saw his latest post. My godmother says that rising stars shouldn't be obscured by clouds. So I received a one-of-a-kind love. Below it was a photo of someone gently patting his head. Though the face wasn't visible, the red mole on the ring finger was unmistakable. It was Lưu Như Yen's hand. A nameless fury erupted inside me. As much as I hated to admit it, this time, he had truly driven me mad. The feeling was unbearable. Like a ragdoll cat that had only ever been gentle with me suddenly extending its claws toward someone else. I tightened my grip on my phone and let out a cold laugh. Very well, if you like something called one-of-a-kind love, then I'll make that uniqueness as ordinary as everything else. I called my friend back. He answered immediately, his voice brimming with excitement. Relax, you've invested a massive amount of money. And now you're the largest shareholder of the company. If the director still refused to let your trainee appear on the show, that would be downright ridiculous. 10 minutes later, right at lunch break, when every office worker had their eyes glued to their phones, the official guest list of the famous variety show was released. From newly signed trainees to veteran artists long forgotten, everyone appeared as flying guests. Everyone, except Wai Dang Tan. The news spread through the company like wildfire. People in the entertainment industry were always sharp. They knew how to read the situation and act accordingly. As soon as the announcement broke, the trainees in the company began posting messages of gratitude on social media. Brother back dad is so generous. We're all rising stars full of potential. Only Brother Baghdad could do something like this, turn someone else's exclusive privilege into an opportunity for all of us. They might not have been famous yet, but their sheer numbers, along with their small yet loyal fan groups, were enough to generate significant influence. In less than 30 minutes, every comment under Wai Dang Tan's post, those praising the so-called sacred sibling like bond or calling Lưu Như Yên a goddess, vanished completely. Netizens began piecing together clues, speculating about why I had personally targeted him. Wai Dang Tan's eyes were bloodshot, publicly humiliated, his pride shattered. What he had once flaunted as a personal privilege had now become a joke for everyone. Overwhelmed by shame, he lowered his head and quietly stepped into the elevator, intending to leave the company. But at that very moment, 2 other trainees were already inside, chatting, and their topic happened to be him. I've been sick of him for ages. Everyone in this industry knows Lưu Như Yên and Ki Baghdad are a couple. Yet he still insisted on squeezing himself in, bringing her breakfast and coffee every single day. He deserves it. Who does he think he is? Daring to dream about Brother Baghdad's goddess? Wai Dang Tan remained silent, clenching his fists so tightly his knuckles turned white. Each word that reached his ears felt like a slap after another. His eyes burned red. The moment the elevator doors opened, he bolted out, running off without looking back. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching him leave the building, climb into a taxi, his figure slumped and miserable. I had never been someone who easily forgot grudges. If anyone dared to step in front of me to provoke me, I would make them pay double. I wanted him to understand clearly, there were people he had no right to cling to. And people he wasn't qualified to challenge. That afternoon, when Lưu Như Yên finished filming and got into her car, she saw Wai Dang Tan already waiting inside. His eyes were swollen red from crying. She frowned slightly. What's wrong? You were still cheerful this morning. The moment Wai Dang Tan opened his mouth, tears spilled down his face. His voice trembled, pitiful. Brother Baghdad seems to dislike me. No one has ever treated me as well as you. Sister, I only wanted to share my happiness with my fans. I didn't expect it to make him uncomfortable. I'm sorry. He stood up, trying to look strong, but his voice choked. Sister Như Yên, thank you for taking care of me all this time. In my heart, you'll always be someone irreplaceable. Only then did Lưu Như Yên finally realize what I had done to him. He lowered his head, his voice full of regret. I'm sorry. Do you think Brother Baghdad is angry at you? If I'd known he was so sensitive, I definitely wouldn't have posted anything. Every word sounded like remorse, yet they subtly painted him as an innocent victim, while turning me into a petty, domineering villain. I didn't know how Như Yên reacted at the time. Her assistant didn't recount the details. But that night, when she returned home, her face was dark, the atmosphere in the villa thick and oppressive. Even the house staff cleaning quietly held their breath, not daring to make a sound. I ignored her anger and continued trimming the flower branches in the garden as if nothing had happened. My indifference only seemed to irritate her more. After a few heavy breaths, she finally spoke. Baghdad, he's just a child. Why are you being so harsh? Before I could answer, her tone softened. Could you clear your schedule tomorrow night? I kept my head down, eyes following the shears as they cut through a branch, and asked coldly. For what? Her earlier confidence wavered, perhaps my attitude chilled her. She answered softly. He said there was a misunderstanding between you two. He wants to see you, apologize in person and explain everything. I put down the shears and walked straight upstairs without turning back. There's no misunderstanding. He provoked me first. I merely returned the favor. I paused, then added in a low voice. But if he wants to meet, that's fine. It saves me the trouble of sending my assistant. The next day, when I arrived at the private room as agreed, Wai Dang Tan was already waiting outside the door. The moment he saw me appear in the hallway, he immediately bowed, respectful and obedient, as if nothing had ever happened. Brother back dat, I'm truly sorry. His voice trembled, sounding sincere. That was the first time in my life anyone treated me so well. I just couldn't hold back and shared the announcement. I wanted to show off a little. I didn't know it would upset you. The fault is mine, not yours. I only hope you won't be angry at Sister Như Yên because of this. Lưu Như Yên stood beside him, blinking softly at me, her gaze pleading for me to accept his apology and let the matter go. I didn't respond. I removed my coat, handed it to the attendant, and sat down calmly. After a while, I spoke casually. You've misunderstood something. As far as you're concerned, you're not qualified to threaten the relationship between Như Yên and me. I looked straight at Wai Dang Tan, my gaze sharp and cold. But there's one thing I want you to understand clearly. I'm a very possessive person. Anyone who dares to act intimately with my wife is challenging my authority, testing my limits. And trust me, you definitely don't want to see what happens when those limits are crossed. Perhaps he was used to fake smiles and empty threats in the entertainment industry. Hearing such blunt words from me, fear and shame were all that remained on his face. Back dat? Lưu Như Yên spoke up, her voice gentle but faintly reproachful. He genuinely wants to make peace. Why do you have to scare him like that? She understood my temperament. I never acted without reason. So even though Wai Dang Tan was trembling, tears silently falling, she said nothing more. I took my coat back from the attendant and stood up. There won't be a next time. Whether he did it intentionally or not, I don't care. Before the car started, Lưu Như Yên got in and sat beside me. She still hadn't calmed down, her voice low but firm. You went too far. There's nothing between him and me, you know that. Was it really necessary to humiliate a child like that? I closed the folder in my hands and turned to look at the woman I had loved for 10 years. She was still as beautiful as the first day I met her. Yet somewhere, in her eyes, in her tone, something had changed. I spoke softly, my voice heavy and steady. If we put everything else aside, this was never about him. I met her gaze, unwavering. The real trigger was your attitude. You know how much effort I put into those wedding rings. And yet you so easily handed the symbol of our love to a third party, someone calculating, full of ulterior motives. Don't tell me you didn't notice what he was plotting. Lưu Như Yên froze mid-reach, then turned away, avoiding my eyes. I know, but he's still young, everyone makes mistakes. As long as he realizes it and corrects himself. What's so serious about that? Besides, you know I never encouraged him or said anything inappropriate. I continued looking at her, calm yet icy. And that's the only reason you're still sitting here, talking to me. She was startled, her lips trembling slightly as I continued. I love you. Her eyes widened, clearly not expecting those words at this moment. I went on, my voice low. Because I love you, I can tolerate your momentary mistakes. But I value absolute loyalty and love. Don't push me to that limit. Please. Her gaze grew chaotic, fear seeping into her pupils. No, back dat, we promised we'd stay together forever. Lưu Như Yên was a smart woman. She understood that I could forgive her almost anything, except betrayal. That was my final boundary. And perhaps because of that, after that night, she completely cut off all contact with Wai Dang Tan. Without Lưu Như Yên protection, Wai Dang Tan quickly became a nobody. No notable work, no reputation, no name worth mentioning. He soon found himself trailing behind his manager just to pick up minor jobs, low pay. Barely enough to get by. And even those were never guaranteed to last. I never ordered anyone to make things difficult for him. After all, everyone makes mistakes when they're young. And I believed he had already learned a painful enough lesson. But in the ruthless world of entertainment, stepping on the weak while elevating the strong was an unavoidable rule. Less than 2 weeks later, Wai Dang Tan's manager called him in for a talk. The reason was simple, his commercial value was too low. The turning point came one afternoon. That day, After a long stretch with no work schedules at all, his manager forced him to attend a shady brand event. The purpose was obvious: pour drinks, flatter a few executives, and serve as entertainment. By sheer coincidence, Lưu Như Yên witnessed the entire scene. The young man was being dragged down the hallway by a greasy, overweight man whose appearance was sloppy and repulsive. Wai Dang Tan's face was filled with helplessness. His eyes silently pleaded for help. Lưu Như Yên couldn't bear it. Her cold gaze stopped on the manager, her voice sharp and icy. "Don't come to the company tomorrow." When her secretary later reported the incident to me, I wasn't surprised by Như Yên decision. Because before I ever entered her life, years ago, she had gone through something similar herself: humiliation beyond words, threatened and coerced by her own manager. So when she saw a young person who resembled her past self being treated that way, she couldn't possibly remain indifferent. Especially when the boy who once shone with vitality was now nothing more than a dejected shadow, dragged around like a disposable commodity. Như Yên believed everything that had happened to Wai Dang Tan was orchestrated by me. Consumed by rage, her reason completely burned away, and she broke the agreement between us. That night, when she came home, the first thing she did was smash the vase I had been arranging. Porcelain shards scattered across the floor. Flowers lay crushed everywhere. "Back dat, what is wrong with you?" she shouted. It was the first real fight we had had in all our years together. He realized his mistake. He's already suffered enough. Why are you still ordering the company to keep pushing him down? Do you know he was almost forced to entertain clients at a filthy party today? Her voice trembled with anger. "You've changed. Back dat, you're cold and selfish now, so much so that I don't even recognize the man in front of me anymore." At first, I had intended to speak calmly, but the fury in her voice made my blood boil. I snapped back. "What is he to you that you care so much? Everything that's happening to him is his own doing. Who do you think I am? Như Yên? Do you really think I have the time to hold a grudge against some nobody?" The shattered vase lay in pieces on the floor, impossible to put back together. Just like that moment, standing there, my eyes red, staring at the woman I loved, completely losing control over another man. And it was then that I understood. We would never return to what we once were. Soon after, Lưu Như Yên arranged for Wai Dang Tan to be transferred to one of the company's top senior managers. As for his former manager, not only was he fired, she used her influence to blacklist him from the entire entertainment industry. She leveraged her connections to secure Wai Dang Tan a series of advertising contracts and commercial events. She even forced directors to give him roles when she joined film crews. I knew everything she was doing was meant to provoke me. And so, the Cold War between us reached its peak. I stayed at the company. She moved into a hotel. The villa we had designed and decorated together was now visited only by house staff coming in to clean. Gradually, she stopped coming to the office altogether. Whenever she needed documents or contracts, she sent Wai Dang Tan to retrieve them. Once, she even gave him the access code to our home. That day, I happened to return early. The moment I opened the door, I saw Wai Dang Tan walking straight into Như Yên private dressing room, his movements familiar, as if it were his own space. Hearing the door open, he turned around. For a brief instant, I caught a look in his eyes, not fear, but faint smugness and provocation. In that moment, all my hesitation about whether to reconcile with Lưu Như Yên vanished completely. I felt no anger toward Wai Dang Tan. But from beginning to end, I didn't say a single word to him. That night, alone in the company's lounge, I lay back, covering my eyes with my arm, and let out a soft sigh. Enough, Như Yên, I won't stand here waiting for you anymore. In an industry filled with gossip and scandal, Lưu Như Yên open closeness with Wai Dang Tan naturally became daily conversation. News about them spread like wildfire. They attended film festivals together, formed heart shapes for cameras at brand events, Watched fireworks alone on a yacht. Made clay dog figurines together during breaks at the company. Every day brought new rumors, photos, stories. My assistant updated me on their activities daily. But every time I heard the report, I only said one thing. Archive it. Other than that, I showed no expression. At the time, I was busy reorganizing all my assets. Cash, real estate, investments, premarital and marital property, so extensive it gave me headaches. I no longer had the energy to waste on Lưu Như Yên and Wai Dang Tan. Meanwhile, his provocations grew more blatant. Perhaps Wai Dang Tan thought my silence meant he had won. I only curled my lips slightly, thinking coldly. Go ahead and smile. In a few days, we'll see how hard you cry. That day, a mutual friend of mine and Lưu Như Yên was about to leave the country. So both of us were obliged to attend the farewell party. She behaved as if nothing had happened. I arrived at the film set early to pick her up. Before going in to shoot, she only reminded me. Drive carefully. But even after the scheduled time passed, I didn't see her come out. A bad feeling rose in my chest. I pushed through the crowd and walked straight into the set. And then I saw something I never wanted to see again in my life. Captured by the camera lens. Under blooming peach blossoms, Wai Dang Tan was holding Lưu Như Yên in his arms, kissing her lips. Cut, the director shouted. Lưu Như Yên calmly walked toward me, her voice even. Wait a moment, I'll remove my makeup, then we'll go. The way she spoke was so casual, as if kissing another man in front of her husband was perfectly normal. To others, it was just a scene. But to her, a woman with severe cleanliness obsession, who had never filmed a single kissing scene in 12 years of her career, it was something utterly incomprehensible. My face turned ice cold. The air around us grew so heavy it was suffocating. I only watched silently as she and Wai Dang Tan entered the makeup room one after the other. It was at that moment that I made my decision. Everything that followed unfolded in silence. At the farewell party, Lưu Như Yên smiled for the first time that day. She linked arms with me, greeting everyone cheerfully with her usual grace. Whenever she chose to talk to someone, she always knew how to make them feel at ease. Yet even without her mentioning it, everyone present knew that her relationship with Wai Dang Tan was the hottest topic circulating. When a friend deliberately steered the conversation toward Như Yên and me, the atmosphere in the private room instantly tensed. I lifted my napkin, calmly wiped the corner of my mouth, and said, "Oh, almost forgot, Lưu Như Yên and I have decided to divorce." "What? Since when? But you came together today." Someone blurted out what everyone was thinking. The woman who had been avoiding my gaze finally looked up, stunned. I nodded slightly, my tone even. "Yes, but today will be the last time we appear together as husband and wife." Her usual composure shattered. Just as she was about to speak, a phone rang, its shrill sound tearing through the room. "Kai Như Yên." Her assistant's voice came through the speaker. "Someone just leaked news about your marriage with Mr. Ki Bak Dat, along with a series of photos of you with Wai Dang Tan. Social media is exploding. In 10 minutes, you've lost over 2 million followers. Several major brands are already contacting us to terminate contracts." The entire room fell silent. Everyone heard every word. In shock, Lưu Như Yên dropped her phone. She stared at me, her eyes filled with disbelief, confusion, and fury. It was you?" Her voice trembled, hoarse. I nodded slightly. A cold smile curved at my lips. Her face instantly drained of color. Her eyes bloodshot, as if about to bleed. Why would you do this?" I ignored her furious cries, pulled a prepared stack of divorce papers from my bag, and placed them on the table. "Lưu Như Yên, I already gave you a chance." She stared at me, desperation clinging to her gaze, as if all she needed was a reason, no matter how small, to hold on. Her voice was rough, as if scraped raw by sand. Don't joke like this. Back dat. This isn't funny. I replied coldly. I'm sorry, but this isn't a joke. I looked straight at her, my eyes unwavering. The moment you wavered for Wai Dang Tan, let him trample over this marriage, and then openly paraded him everywhere in front of me as if nothing was wrong. You should have known this day would come. I paused, my voice sinking lower. And there's more bad news for you. Every time Wai Dang Tan posts about this so-called romantic relationship between the two of you, your share of marital assets decreases a little. I spoke slowly, steadily, each word slicing through the air like a blade. Combined with the fact that I've hired the top legal team in the country. Starting today, what awaits you is collapse and bankruptcy. With every word I spoke, the fear in Lưu Như Yên eyes became more pronounced. No, that's impossible. She shook her head, her lips trembling. When I finished speaking, she seemed to lose her mind. She lunged forward, grabbed the divorce papers, and tore them into pieces. You're lying. This can't be real. Back dat. How could you do this to me? She rushed toward me, grabbing my hand tightly as tears streamed down her face. There's nothing between me and Wai Dang Tan. Really, everything I did was just work. Back dat. I love you, don't you know that? I was only foolish for a moment. You can't abandon me like this. I pulled my hand away, a wave of disgust rising at her belated remorse. An indescribable revulsion crept up my spine. Almost instinctively, I took out a wet tissue and wiped my hand, as if I had touched something filthy. Work? With my backing, who in this entertainment industry would dare force her to do anything she didn't want? On the contrary, she was the one who used my name to pressure directors, forcing them to give Wai Dang Tan a role. Lưu Như Yên, I said coldly, you've disappointed me to the point of nausea. Don't humiliate yourself further by pretending to be a victim. She snapped back, her voice hoarse but stubborn. You can't prove anything with that. I just pitied him. I only wanted to help. I cut her off, my gaze icy. Pity? Haven't you humiliated yourself enough already? From the moment you allowed him to step into this house, we were finished. You let another man enter the most private space of our marriage. And now you want to talk to me about love? I stood up, my voice firm and final. I'll have my assistant send you a new divorce agreement. I hope that, like me, you won't waste another second on this meaningless marriage. Lưu Như Yên couldn't accept it. Yes, she had crossed the line with Wai Dang Tan, but in her mind, everything she did was merely to provoke me, to make me jealous. She had never truly wanted to end the marriage. She couldn't understand how things had spiraled this far. Just half an hour earlier, she had still been imagining that after the farewell party, I would take her somewhere, say a few gentle words, and coax her back home. So when I got into the car, she hurried after me, opened the door, and climbed into the back seat with me, urgently telling the driver to leave. Fear filled her eyes, the terror that if she was even a second too slow, I would push her away. Her voice trembled with desperation. Back dat, we can't end things like this. Please, don't act on impulse. Let's go home first and talk. Okay? I looked down at her tear-streaked face, my gaze indifferent. Fine, if you want to go home, I'll let you see it for yourself, and give up completely. It was the first time Lưu Như Yên had returned to our house since the Cold War began. But the house was no longer what she remembered. She froze the moment she stepped inside, her eyes widening in disbelief. What is this? What happened here? She turned to look at me, eyes red and voice breaking. Why? I replied flatly, surprised. The person you pitied came here himself and redesigned this house. He said the house made her unhappy. So to make her feel better, he threw out everything we had chosen together and replaced it with things she supposedly liked. Her mouth fell open in shock. After a long silence, she finally whispered, Why didn't you stop him? I shrugged, my tone calm. There was no love left between us. Why would I stop it? To me, this place is just another piece of real estate now. If someone trespassed, that's a matter for the police. I only kept all the surveillance footage as evidence. The cruelty in my voice stabbed straight into her heart. At that moment, Lưu Như Yên finally understood that I truly no longer loved her. Yet she still refused to let go. Tears poured down her face as she choked out, "There's really nothing between me and him. Truly nothing." She clung desperately to that last fragile hope, struggling against the reality collapsing around her, fragile, pitiful, and utterly lost. She reminded me of the woman she once was. The woman who had once made my heart race. In the past, I would have pulled her into my arms without hesitation, holding her tight and soothing her. But now, looking at Lưu Như Yên, I felt nothing. To me, she was no different from a stranger. "I know you and Wai Dang Ton didn't cross the final line," I said coldly, "but so what? When you scolded me and defended him, did you ever think about how much that hurt me? When you gave him the key to our home, did you ever think about how disappointed I would be? When rumors about you flooded the internet, did you ever think about how others would look at me? You knew all of it, and you still did it. You didn't care how I felt. You only wanted to protect the man you pitied, to humiliate me, to make me jealous, and force me to come back begging." I looked straight at her tearful face and, absurdly, felt a bitter smile rise in my heart. That pitiful weakness now looked ridiculous to me. "Lưu Như Yên, there's no way back. Don't degrade yourself any further." She still refused to sign the divorce papers. Even as social media overflowed with insults, even as paparazzi and anti-fans camped outside the company, she showed up every day impeccably made up, composed as if nothing had happened, stubbornly trying to hold on to me. Wai Dang Ton, on the other hand, was pushed to the brink. When he tried to see her, she immediately ordered security to throw him out, afraid I might misunderstand, even without a second thought. Even when I treated her coldly, she didn't give up. Every night after I left the office, she returned alone to the old house. She rummaged through junkyards across the city, ran through furniture stores day and night, trying desperately to restore the house to how it used to be. She even stepped into the kitchen she had always hated, learning to cook soup from the housekeeper. Every time she came to the company, she brought soup she had made herself, but those containers were quietly taken away by the staff and poured down the drain at night. Then one late evening, there was frantic knocking at the door. I opened it to find Lưu Như Yên standing there, drunk, tears mixed with the smell of alcohol. She stumbled forward and collapsed into my arms, sobbing. Her legs trembled, she could barely stand. Only then did I remember that this apartment was jointly owned. She was still registered with the building management, she had the right to enter. I immediately called my assistant and told him to come take her back to the hotel. Hearing my voice, she struggled violently. She forced her eyes open through the haze of alcohol, knocked the phone out of my hand, and looked up at me, her voice hoarse and desperate. "Back dat, I'm not leaving, please, don't divorce me. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so childish. Shouldn't have used Wai Dang Ton to test you. I've deleted all contact with him. I warned him never to come near us again. Please, don't divorce me. Can't we go back to how things were?" Her voice broke as she grabbed my hand, trembling. "I can take more endorsements, make more movies, attend more events, earn more money for the company. I'll do anything, just don't divorce me." At that moment, I realized I had overlooked something crucial. I had never officially terminated her artist contract. My voice turned icy. "Lưu Như Yên, tomorrow, announce your retirement. What you've done has caused the company enormous losses. We don't need a scandal-ridden artist like you anymore. If you withdraw voluntarily, you can still find another path and repay the penalties. But if you remain stubborn and wait for the company to freeze your contract until it expires, don't blame me for being ruthless." She stared at me, eyes filled with terror and absolute panic. The woman who had once been a dazzling superstar collapsed completely, leaving only broken sobs and pleas. But I had said everything I needed to say. No matter how she explained, begged, or justified herself, I remained silent. I pushed her away, letting her fall onto the sofa, and called my assistant to take her away. Before leaving the office, I gave one final instruction: expedite the divorce proceedings. As for Wai Dang Tan, with his already weak abilities and the loss of Lưu Như Yen's protection, he stood no chance. Branded as a homewrecker by public opinion, he not only had to pay breach of contract penalties but was also relentlessly pursued by my legal team for damages related to illegal trespass. Under the crushing pressure of lawsuits and public condemnation, Lưu Như Yen's legal team was ultimately forced to agree to the divorce. The day I received the divorce certificate at the Civil Affairs Bureau, the last light in Lưu Như Yen's eyes finally went out. It had been half a month since I last saw her. Now she was only a shadow of herself. The pride and composure that once shone in her gaze had been completely replaced by regret and despair. "Back dat," she asked softly, her voice trembling. "Will you be with someone else someday?" "I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. But, could you not be with anyone else?" She forced a weak smile as tears streamed down her face. "Just thinking that the love you once gave me might someday belong to someone else. It feels like my heart is being torn apart." "Back dat, I'm sorry." Her words stirred nothing in me. I didn't turn back. I didn't regret the love I had once given her, because the Lưu Như Yen I loved back then had been worthy of it. But people change. And I will not compromise again. Maybe one day I'll fall in love with someone else. Or maybe I never will. Either way, it's my life. Lưu Như Yen, I said softly but decisively. From now on, don't ever meet me again. After that, I never saw Lưu Như Yen or Wai Dang Tan again. They were completely erased from the entertainment industry, and even the city they once loved, filled with memories, no longer had a place for them. I never asked about their lives. I had neither the time nor the interest. To them, I was probably just an ex-husband, a former boss, or forever a creditor demanding unpaid compensation. To me, they were nothing more than crossroads, people who walked with me for a while, but no longer belonged to my journey. I let go of the past. I lived the way I wanted, free and at peace. And every single day, I remain ready to welcome whatever unexpected turns life chooses to send my way. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.